Yes, I do believe that Donald Trump is unstable, increasingly unstable, and unfit to serve.
The fact of the matter is, this is a dangerous person. This is a stupid person, and that's a bad combination.
This is somebody who wants unchecked power. We do not need to see what an older, loonier Donald Trump looks like with no guardrails.
Donald Trump is the stupidest and most dangerous presidential candidate in history.
He is a menace to democracy. He's threatening to sick troops on protesters.
He is a genuine threat to our democracy. And that's not hyperbole. That is God's truth.
And that was all about Joe's campaign from the get-go. But Jonathan Turley, the law professor, points out in a brand new op-ed in the New York Post, the voters just aren't buying it. And Jonathan joins us right now from Ohio. Good morning to you, Professor.
Thank you. Hi, Steve.
In a little soundbite montage, they're pulling out all the stops. You elect Donald Trump, it's the end of America as we know it.
It is. This is sort of panic politics with sort of a Halloween flair that, something wicked this way comes. And, if you vote against me, you are voting against democracy and life as you know it.
Right.
What's missing from this is any sense of history and any sense of constitutional law. For over 2 centuries, we have the oldest and most stable democratic system in the history of the world. We have gone through wars and economic crises and social crises, and we're still here. It's a system designed to last because we have overlapping safeguards and checks and balances and a tripartite system. All of that has to fail for these dire apocalyptic predictions to come true. And what's dangerous about this is that the panic politics is designed to distract voters, to say that no matter what else is bothering you,
Right.
Vote for your own life because you're looking at the end of democracy and your way of life unless Harris is elected.
Sure. And this was the theme when it was Joe Biden. The campaign said, okay, we've got January 6th. We're gonna remind people about January 6th, and they have done that. And much to their horror, there's a brand new Washington Post poll that came out in the last week or so. Who would do a better job against threats to democracy in the United States? And Donald Trump is actually beating Kamala Harris. And that could be one of the reasons why she's going to make her closing argument on Tuesday at the Ellipse. And she's going to say, and this is where Donald Trump stood on January 6th. And we know what happened that day. That's what she's going to say.
Yeah, and what's interesting, Steve, is that an earlier poll, when Joe Biden was still the nominee, had the same result, that they thought that Trump rather than Biden would be a better protection of the democracy. And the problem here is that the American people have an innate sense of when they're being played for chumps. It's not that the decision is easy for them between Trump and Harris, but they don't buy it. They don't buy that after this long 2 centuries of successful democracy, it's all going to come to an end unless Harris is elected president. But they're doubling down because this is the only thing they want to talk about. They're going to try to win an election based on abject fear with a mix of illusory joy. And so far, that hasn't tracked with the voters. But as a legal matter, it borders on constitutional defamation. There's a lot of complaints you can make about our system, but the one thing you can recommend it is we're still here. It's a system designed by James Madison to last. And, when Obama says he's going to get unchecked power, you're left scratching your head. We have a system of checks and balances. We have a tripartite system that is designed to prevent that. Where's all that going to go? Where are all the judges and members of Congress going to go when tyranny takes its hold because Harris is not elected president?
All right, Professor, thank you very much for